Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since I last filmed a video for YouTube. The last video that I filmed was my I got engaged little recap, and today I'm sitting down with you fully married and playing with some new makeup that I just got, and I figured that we'll sit down, chat, talk about everything, debrief a little bit of behind the scenes of wedding planning and the wedding day and all that stuff. I actually posted on my Instagram stories and asked if anyone has any questions to send them over, and I guess we will just go ahead and get started. It is a very rainy, dark and gloomy day here in Los Angeles, so the lighting is not great, but we are going to make do. This is a new setup, a new background. We'll see how it looks. We'll see how the camera picks it up. Hopefully it all looks good. So first of all, it's already been 2 months. I can't even believe that time flew that quickly. Our wedding day was January 23rd, 2023. We picked it because of 12323. We really liked that date, and it was a Monday evening. I forgot a mirror, 1 second. Much better. Now we have a little bit of extra light from my mirror as well, so that's good. So we got engaged on April 20th of 2022. So it's coming up of a year from when we got engaged, which is also crazy. And we had about 8-ish months to plan our wedding. And we really knew from the get-go that we wanted to do it in Hawaii because Hawaii is a very special place to us. Daniel and I actually were friends for a really long time before we got engaged. We've known of each other our entire lives. My mom moved here from New York when she was in middle school, and her first friend in school was actually Daniel's mom. But we were not friends like as kids, him and I. We met later in life. We were both working at the same camp together as counselors, and we connected then and became friends. We were friends for 7 years, and after 7 years of being friends, somewhere during the pandemic, we kind of got back in touch, reconnected, and we went on a trip to Hawaii. He invited me to come with him and his friends to Hawaii, and while we were there, he actually had that conversation with me and said, I think that we should start dating seriously, and I laughed in his face. And I was like, I don't know, but we gave it a few months, and basically I was like, okay, fine. We can do this. Because I told him from the beginning, you know, we're friends. We know that we work as friends. If we're dating, we're gonna be dating to get married. So it's gonna be pretty serious. So let's see in these next few months if we genuinely do want to make that transition into like, okay, this is it. And then I told him if he doesn't know after a year if he wants to marry me, if I don't have a ring on my finger, then we're moving on. That was a lot of information from a bunch of different places, but I really want to try this Dior Forever foundation. It says to shake well, and I got shade 2.5 neutral. This is the, I think, matte one. The bottle is a frosted. This is the transfer proof 24-hour high perfection concentrated floral skincare with sunscreen. All right, I'm just gonna do 2 pumps on my kabuki brush, and then I like to get some really thin lines of this on the face so I disperse the product, and then I go ahead and I start pressing that into the skin. Anyways, so I rambled on and on, but we had 8 months to plan our destination wedding on Oahu. This is such a pretty foundation. Oh, wow, wow, wow. I really like this foundation. The lighting is a little bit weird, so I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but it looks really good. My skin looks very, very good right now. Wow, I think this is my new favorite foundation, and I think I might put this in my makeup kit. I started doing makeup for clients again, which is news. Okay, so moving on. We started looking at venues in Hawaii pretty immediately. The battery died on my mirror here. I'm using the Dior Skin Corrector in 2.5N as well. Let's try this out. This is a little bit darker than I would normally do on my under eyes, but it was pretty hard to figure out what shade I was gonna be from just the online pictures. Anyways, so we started to look at venues, and we very quickly found out that there were not many places on the island that would be able to accommodate kosher catering. And that was a huge deal for us. We like needed to have kosher catering. The wedding quite literally could not happen if we did not have kosher food. So we were trying to figure out what our options were. There was a option to have catering from Maui. There's a kosher Chabad over there, but he'd never catered a wedding before, but he said that he would be able to do it, blah, 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 and he would fly everything over, and we would just have to figure out like the logistics of like finding a kitchen for where he can do the remaining of his prep and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. That was becoming very complicated. As was trying to figure out if we can bring a caterer from LA out and over there, because that was going to be astronomically expensive, because on top of the already crazy price of the kosher catering from LA, like even doing it here, it's extremely expensive. We would then have to fly out tons of people and put them up in hotels, and then we would have to rent a ton of equipment there, find a kitchen there, rent that out there, blah, 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 and it was just going to be literally the price of an entire wedding would have been the cost of flying out catering there. So we didn't do that. We ended up finding someone who was a mashgiach, which is basically the person that watches the food to make sure that there's following the kosher laws and making sure that everything is like the kitchen and the utensils and all that stuff are brought up to kosher standards. So we just hired a local chef and had somebody kind of like watching the whole thing. This concealer, wow. This foundation, wow. Wow, wow, wow. The other thing that I got to try is this Patrick Ta shaping wax in clear. When I first opened it, I was like, wow, the pan is empty. And then I realized that it's just very clear. So I'm just going to activate it first with some Fix Plus. Never done this before. Gonna put that into my brows. Alright, I'm just gonna let that sit there for a minute. I don't remember where I was at in my story. Oh yeah, we were trying to find a venue with kosher food. Couldn't find one. Had to go through figuring out a venue where we can bring outside food into, and we actually ended up finding Lani Kuanua, which is the Cultural Institute. Beautiful, beautiful venue. Oh my god, if you have not watched my wedding highlights video yet, go watch it. It's stunning. And there's the Four Seasons right next door, which was perfect because it gave me a little bit of a more, I don't want to say modern because it's not modern, but there was more like architecture there for me to go and take pictures. The bridal suite was there, and then you walk next door and it's like just this big open grass area. I'm trying out this Say Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer in medium bronze for the first time today. This right here. The venue was beautiful and ended up working out great. It happened to be available for our date, which we were so happy about. This is very pigmented. I like this a lot. We ended up, there were 3 phases on the property. We ended up going for phase 1. We also looked at phase 3, but we decided ultimately it was a bit too small for us, even though we did have a small wedding by definition for us. We only had 100 people, when usually people in our culture, our community, our weddings are a lot bigger, like closer to 300 and up. It was absolutely stunning. I'm so glad that we chose that venue. We were kind of set on doing it at a hotel in the beginning, but I think that this ended up being perfect. Beautiful, perfect, perfect, perfect. So that's enough of me rambling about random things of different topics, kind of all over the place. I'm gonna look at my Instagram in just a moment and start to answer a few questions. Also, side note, I really like the color of this. It blends out so easily, melts into the skin, doesn't look heavy. I love it. Love, 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 love. I could see myself using this every single day, honestly. It's really, really pretty. Okay, question number 1 is, what are some things you wish you would have known before your wedding? The first thing that comes to mind actually is how uncomfortable the veil actually is. It is so annoying, and I had a super, super long veil. I had a Royal Cathedral veil because I wanted to exceed the length of the train of my dress. and it was beautiful, absolutely stunning, but it was a pain in the butt, and it kept popping off of my head when people went to hug me, even though it was pinned into my head. It was just a pain in the ass, basically. And it was really, really windy right by the ocean, and under the chuppah, my veil kept flying and flailing in the wind, so my mom actually had to hold it because it was kept flying off and getting everywhere. And the other thing was, when it's over your face and you have your lashes on, it kind of like sits on your lashes, and it was getting in the way. Like my lashes and my veil were getting in the way of each other. And there's certain clips, you'll see it in my highlight video if you look closely enough, where I'm kind of like making this weird eye face because I'm like trying to look up, but also it was getting caught on my veil, and then I was trying to like keep my eyes looking down a little bit, but also trying to look up so that it wouldn't get caught in my veil. So I'm making like this slightly funny face in some pictures, and it was because of that. Nobody talks about how your lashes get in the way of your veil. That was something that I wish that somebody had told me before. Oh, right before I walked down the aisle, my sister-in-law told me not to stand with my legs locked. She's like, keep your knees slightly bent, like shift your weight back and forth, because you end up standing there for a decent amount of time, and if you lock your knees, I guess because of the adrenaline and standing and being in the sun, and you haven't really eaten because of nerves all day, that it's possible that you can faint. So that was a good little piece of advice. So and you can't really see it, especially if you wear a big ball gown like I did. If you're kind of shifting in your feet a little bit, you don't really see it. So that was a good piece of advice, especially because I'm prone to fainting. I definitely made sure to take that advice. I also wish that I was prepped a little bit more, that quite literally everything would go wrong on your wedding day. No matter how much you plan, no matter how many details you have like pre-worked out, everything goes wrong. Nothing is exactly how you pictured it, and it's fine. I didn't let anything get to me on the day of, but I was pretty bummed looking back that certain things that I really, really wanted a certain way were not done that way. You know, because you kind of think, okay, well, I put so much extra time and thought into planning all these little details, so nothing's gonna go wrong. Wrong. Everything does go wrong. I'm using the Givenchy Prism Libre in shade 4 to set and brighten up underneath my eyes and in certain areas of my face, just because the concealer was not bright enough for my liking. So I'm just gonna set over here. I changed out of my wedding dress way sooner than I thought that I would. I really thought that I would last until the after party in my wedding dress, because I was like, oh, it's so comfortable, it's very lightweight, it's easy to move in, blah blah blah. I got so hot, so suffocated, because I really danced. Like I danced. I was jumping up and down, screaming, yelling, having the time of my life. And there's like a built-in kind of corset layer of my dress, and it got to a point where I just couldn't breathe, and I really needed to change, especially because it was quite humid. It wasn't hot, it was a great temperature, but I was getting hot, and I didn't really take too many breaks. I was just like going, and after about an hour I really needed to go change to my second look, which was fine. I'm really glad that I changed, because I got to really enjoy dancing at the rest of my wedding instead of being uncomfortable. But I wish that, I don't know what I wish. I'm bummed that I didn't get to wear it for longer, because I really loved my wedding dress. It was beautiful. It was everything that I ever could have imagined. I actually showered. When I went to go change into my second look, I showered and washed off all my face makeup, and I left my eye makeup on because I was sweating so much. Literal, like, my makeup was just melting off of my face. Like all here in my cheeks, that was like the most red and the most sweaty, was just melting off, and I was like, whatever, who cares? This is my wedding. I want to have the best time ever. I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to be worried about like my makeup needing to dab it or anything like that. I just want it off of my face. So I washed my face off of my makeup, and I don't regret that for a minute. My face still looked beautiful in the pictures. Nobody noticed. Only I knew, and I felt so good after rinsing off because I was dripping sweat. Like my sister-in-law kept coming up to me like literally taking a napkin and mopping up my back sweat because I was sweating so much. And I'm not typically a sweaty girl, but I was just melting away. Next question, did we go on a honeymoon? If so, where? No, we didn't go on a honeymoon yet. We're still thinking about where do we want to go, what kind of vibe, when do we want to go. We don't have an idea yet. So that's still kind of up in the air. We are planning on going on one, we just don't know yet. Next question, did I experience post-wedding blues? I really did not think that I would, but I definitely did. I think what it is for me especially, my work, my business kind of slowed down because I was personal training full-time. Now I'm doing it like as much as I can, but my client list has severely lessened, especially since people are starting to go back to their normal routines. Because during the pandemic, personal training was the only option since the gyms were closed. I had a lot of clients coming to me because I built a home gym, but now kind of people are going back to their routines from before, which is fine. So I had basically all the time in the world to plan the wedding, and so when it was over, I didn't have as much to do anymore. So I did feel kind of useless, like I wasn't doing anything productive with my days really, because there was only like one or two really important things that I would do in my day, and I didn't feel like I was really making use of my whole day. Versus when I was wedding planning, there were certain days that I literally stayed up and pulled all-nighters, like planning shit, calling people, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not good with change. I'm just not good with change. I never have been. So moving out, living with a boy, living in a new place, owning a dog for the first time. Yes, Baba. I know you're done with your treat and now you want to bother me again? Why don't you come sit? It was just a lot. And I've never had to share my space in this way before. I've never had to, you know, run a household. I've never lived with a roommate. Because even when I did my gap year in Israel after high school for the year, I had my own room in a shared living space. But I had my own bathroom, I had my own shower, I had my own closet. I didn't have to share. So it was a lot. It was a lot of change. Nobody really talks about when you're married, you know, you and your partner are likely going to be waking up and going to sleep at different times. They're going to have a different time that their alarm clock goes off, and it might be earlier than your alarm clock, and then you're going to wake up inevitably from their alarm clock, and then, you know, having to try to sleep through them tiptoeing and getting dressed, or them for you, and then, you know, you're not necessarily going to be hungry at the exact same times every single day, and you're not going to be tired and want to go to sleep exactly at the same time every day. So you're learning how to share your space and you know, bring two different people's schedules into one, and it's a lot. And it took me about a month and a half to kind of get used to it. So yeah, I will say that I had post-wedding blues to some extent. Definitely was not feeling great about myself. And it took me a while to kind of get used to a new normal. Next question, your dress was absolutely stunning. Did you try many dresses before that one? Thank you so much, Isabel. Yes, I did try on quite a few dresses before I settled on that one. That was the style that I knew for sure that I wanted to go with. That like Mikado, very clean, simple ball gown. That was a shape that I always dreamt of wearing and the fabric that I always dreamt of wearing. But my mom did want me to try on a few different styles just to make sure, even though I knew that I was gonna end up settling on that. And also, you know, you have to find the one of that style. So I went to 3 different bridal boutiques. I probably tried on, I wanna say like 30 or less dresses until I settled on that one. And when I put this particular one on, especially with that little bolero detail, that like detachable top, it added such a beautiful like moment where I was able to have 2 different looks in one dress, especially because I did want to be a little bit more covered up and conservative for the actual ceremony. And it was so beautiful. It was not like anything that I have personally ever seen before, because not only was it beaded with beautiful pearls, but it also had little crystals in it as well, so it really shined and sparkled, especially in person. And I just absolutely loved it. The only thing was it was kind of malfunctioning on the day of my wedding. I think, oh, goes to another thing that I wish that I had known before my wedding, was I was due for my period a week after my wedding. Actually, it was supposed to fall like on my literal wedding day, but it ended up coming the week later. But I was really, really swollen and bloated, because I get bloated and swollen typically like the week before, the days of, whatever. So my boobs were actually a lot more large on my wedding day than they had been at my last fitting. So my dress was kind of falling down because it couldn't handle the weight, basically, of where my boobs were at on my wedding day. So that was another reason why I changed, because my dress was falling down and being annoying. It's okay, Baba. I don't know why you're crying. You are fed, you were walked right before we started filming. So you should be nice and happy. Can I give any marriage advice? I don't think that I have been married long enough to give any marriage advice, I will say that. I guess one piece of advice that I got by, you know, people who have been married for way longer than me, that if you're asking your husband to do something around the house, because it just happens to be for us in particular, that I do more of like the home stuff, like the laundry, cleaning up, cooking, whatever. If you ask your husband for help on something, don't do it yourself. Like, even if he's taking longer than you would hope for to do that task, do not do it. Just wait for him to do it, because he will do it eventually. And if you end up doing it, then he's gonna get used to you just doing it, and then he won't actually do anything at all. So I have been trying as much as I can to not give in to doing stuff if he doesn't do it like exactly when I tell him to do it, or like during the timeline that I had hoped that he would do it in, because that is not going to be productive for anyone. I am trying out the very viral Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette for the first time. It finally came back in stock in shade 1 Universal. This is beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. I'm gonna use the pink shade first, right here, over the cheeks, the apples of my cheeks. Wow, that's stunning. And then I'm gonna use a mix of these 2 top ones for the highlight. And oh my god, that is worth every freaking penny. Wow! Because it's not like a sparkly highlight, it's just a very beautiful, glowy, luminous highlight. I really, really, really like that. Yes, 100% put that on my face every single day. Wow. Yes, yes, yes. I think the only thing that I'm not like sold on was the brow wax. That was kind of underwhelming. I mean, my brows actually do look good, but it was fine. It's not like amazing. Another piece of advice is just communicate. Communicate, communicate, communicate. I definitely shared with Daniel how I was feeling with my like post-wedding blues, and how I was kind of like down on myself and not feeling great and feeling like I wasn't being productive, and that I was kind of letting him down. And he didn't take offense to it. I also told him, like, I'm having a hard time with all the change. It's a lot. He didn't take offense to it. He just was there for me, and he kind of talked me through it. He's like, I know that you're not good at change. It's okay. You're gonna get used to it. It's just, you just need a little bit of an adjustment period. And, you know, he's been amazing. So definitely communicate with your partner. Super, super important. I'm actually obsessed with how my skin looks today. Love that foundation, love that concealer, love the cream bronzer, love this highlighter. Oh my God. Yes, I know, I'm almost done, and then I'm gonna come hang out with you, okay? Okay, Baba? I just replaced that in my little makeup bag for my everyday use now. I'm really excited about that. Yes, 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 yes. So I think that I have rambled on quite enough today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, this little catch up. If you guys have any other questions for me, then leave them in the comment section below. Also, let me know down in the comments if there are any other videos that you want me to film in the near future. Like, do you want me to film any dedicated reviews for any products? Do you want me to do any other types of videos related to the wedding in particular, or home stuff? I definitely have a lot of exciting things to show you around the house. But it's not like ready yet. I feel like I need to wait till it's ready, but also it's never gonna be 100% ready. I'm never gonna be 100% finished. I know. I'm coming. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.